Well, good morning, silver. Silver's seen a nice little price rise in the last several hours. Gold has seen a price rise too, and a huge comeback in platinum as well. We'll take a look at all three metals. This is your weekly price update and analysis brought to you by Ainslie Bullion and the Gold and Silver Standard. My name's Joe. We'll start with silver, then we'll do gold, then we'll do platinum. Use the time codes below to click to your favorite metal. This is silver on the hourly time frame. We're using the tradingview.com website priced in US dollars. $24.70 roughly. Just wanted to show you that move in the last several hours, breaking up out of that $24.30 area we'd been talking about last week, and all the way up to $24.80 US cents. Similar to last week though, let's show you last week's video entitled Silver on the Rise. We've been talking about particular hurdles that silver, gold, and platinum needed to get over. The platinum certainly went over those hurdles, but we'll get to platinum last. Again, click the time code below. But with silver, let's pop on the indicators, and we'll pop out to the daily time frame. So you can see very clearly here this downtrend line going back to May of this year, and then through this point here in July. So you can see that's possibly looking as at a point of resistance right here. It would be quite natural if you do see a couple of red days in silver. Don't be surprised, because it's a very natural resistance point right there. It's good to see though that it did break out of this rectangular box area that I've had drawn in for a while between $24, which we did see support come down to support just in the last number of days since last week's video. We were here, so we did see that as support. Good to see a break out of that. Definitely need to break out of this downtrend line, come out, hold, come back down and hold as support. Usually you will have a retest of a breaking out of a downtrend line. Usually, not always, but more times than not, you have a retest of, and then what we want to see is a nice steady move up to 26. And if you're just new to these videos, 26, and I won't go through the whole thing because our regular subscribers absolutely know that 26 has been a huge line of support in the past. It's been a huge line of resistance just recently as well. Got to break out of 26 and hold that, and then I'll be confident saying, man, we are just rocketing to new all-time highs coming, in the year ahead, for example. So 26 is the big level. So the hurdle though, got to break above and hold this downtrend line for me, and then the big one will be that 26 level. If for some reason we just are heading all the way back down for some reason, don't necessarily see it happening, but manipulation can certainly happen, then of course we'd be looking at $24 as an area of support, and then this downtrend line right here. And this is the big one, the big symmetrical triangle pattern, which goes back to February of 2021. So then you would see that as a potential level of support, hopefully a bounce off if we do go back down to this area. That's looking at around about your 23 US dollar mark. Let's take a look at the relative strength index that's down here. And what this measures is assets going into periods of being very oversold in this area or very overbought in this area. And what happens over time is it just oscillates between the two. You can see you go into periods of oversold where a price rise is looking more likely because sellers have been in control of the market, and then periods where it's just overbought, buyers are in the control of the market, and then it does have to seek an equilibrium, if that makes sense. So on the daily time frame, actually I'll pop it on the hourly to show you the difference. Right here you can definitely see on the hourly time frame that we have gone into extremely overbought on the hourly time frame, where we are right there. Now, doesn't mean we won't stay there. We could potentially, but do note we have been there already. So look, a move back down wouldn't surprise me. So if we do see resistance here at this downtrend line and we see a couple of red days, not surprising because we've already gone into extremely overbought territory. Having said that, bear in mind that you can spend a decent amount of time in overbought territory as well. So look at this one, for example. That's that big move from the 23.30 to the 24.30 area right there. So you can spend some time there. But do take note, we have spent some time already in extremely overbought, and we've moved back down to the general range. So keep that in mind. a move back down from here. Not surprising, but hopefully we see it rocket up. On the daily time frame, relative strength index, we are in the direction of moving towards overbought or moving towards extremely overbought. So that's a good sign. It's a good sign to see that direction. But bear in mind, we're getting into this general area right now. So it doesn't mean we're going down from here, but a couple more pumps and you'd be getting into that overbought territory, and then eventually silver will seek equilibrium and start heading back down, and the sellers will take more control of the market. So we are heading in that direction, but we're getting towards that area. So resistance here, again, not surprising, but we could easily pump to 26 and get into the overbought area, and then maybe we have a little bit of a rest period before making the next move. And hopefully this move or this next move, maybe one, maybe two more times resistance at 26, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, we break through. So that is silver, really pretty much the same as last week. Similar hurdles, except it's great to see that we have broken through this little area here, this rectangular box. So far so good. Just keep in mind this resistance level, and of course the infamous $26 level. That is silver. Let's take a look at gold, then we'll get to platinum. My goodness, platinum. Just click to that time code right now. Go watch that one and then come back to gold. But gold, let's take a look at this one. Right now, on the daily time frame, we are at 1,936 US dollars. Relative strength index has been trending up, as we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, which is great to see. We're over the halfway point, so definite trend is up. Do bear in mind, we do have this downtrend line right here, so that will probably act as resistance. We're getting close to there. We had been talking about last week this particular support level or resistance level, I should say, of 1,930. It's good to see that we did break above it. We held above on the daily time frame. That's a positive sign. But again, do take into account, after such a large rise from, $15 rise, or actually a $20, $21 rise, some profit taking here, a couple of one or two red days, not surprising, so wouldn't be too concerned. We want to see it definitely hold the 200-day moving average. I would suggest around about 1,915. Breaking down from there, you would see it at the $1,900 level. Won't talk lower levels than that because we're looking good so far. Similar hurdles or same hurdles to last week, this downtrend line. And here is one of the big ones for me, 1,960 US dollars. A scenario that I could see play out, of course, may not happen, but more likely than not is once we break out of this downtrend line, you come up and see 1,960 as a resistance point, then you come back down to test this downtrend line, and then if all the stars are aligning and we're continuing up, then you would see that break, and then the next resistance level would be around about this 1,990 to $2,000 mark. So hopefully that's what I'm looking to see. A move breakout, 1960, come back as support. That's a very healthy retest, and then on its merry way. That's pretty much gold. Let's take a look on that. We've done the relative strength index. What about the weekly? Let's take a look at that. Yeah, you can see we are, right here. Okay, so we had this trend line drawn in on the relative strength index, and as you can see right here, it's butting up right against it on the weekly time frame. It's only the start of a new week pretty much in the market, so just a couple of days in, we've already seen this great move from 1915, that $21 move. So just bear in mind this resistance point, that's all I'm saying. But we could certainly rocket through in this next few days and find that resistance point at 1,960. I certainly hope that is the case for you and for me. And you know what? It does depend on where you are within your stacking journey. If you're looking to purchase more, then of course you want it to tank a little bit more, of course. But many people like to dollar cost average. That's probably the best way to go. And of course, you can buy all your bullion at ainsleyBullion.com.au. Quick plug. So those are the targets moving lower. Those are the targets or the hurdles we need to get above moving higher. The big one there would be 1,960, and I'll keep that for now. That is gold. Let's take a look at platinum. Whoa, this is platinum on the daily time frame. Goodness me. So let's see where we were last week. Let's have a look right here. We were at $928.50. All right, so if you can see in here, let's see how close we can get in. Right there. So we had come right up, smack up to the resistance point that I'd had drawn in this rectangular box range of 940 to 960. It was very clear resistance right there at 940, and then we were talking about potentially seeing that as a resistance point for a little bit, and no, completely not a resistance point at all. Let's see, so that was the day that I did the video last week, and just rocketed through. Look at this, straight through 940, straight through this rectangular purple box range, and all the way up to $980. Now, I must admit, I have not been following anything fundamental to do with platinum. I haven't looked up the news, what happened in the platinum world to see this big move. Could it just be pure speculation, just pure technicals? Quite possibly. So if you, and I'll probably do my own research after this video, if you have any insights into why this sudden move, this $50 move from last week in platinum, post a comment below and we can have a discussion about it. But you can very clearly see, as I was talking about, the uptrend line right here, that was going to be an area of resistance. So we haven't hit it yet, but it's certainly been a rough area of resistance so far. Possible red day, possible few red days coming on platinum because you've had such a large move. Again, on the daily time frame, this is the relative strength index, and with very clear direction to the upside. We're starting to head into overbought or extremely overbought territory. Bear in mind, you don't always get to extremely overbought territory before you have a price reversal. So very clearly you can see you go from oversold right here and you can get into quite overbought but not extremely overbought, and then it has its turnaround. So this would be an area just to keep in mind, and obviously you can see here again on the daily time frame we've opened today a little bit red. So looking at that candle, it hasn't played out for the day, but more often than not you're going to see a couple of days of red, I think, for platinum in the next couple of days. Of course, not financial advice, all that sort of stuff. We don't have a crystal ball here at Ainslie, but I would imagine the first support level would be here at that $960 level. That would be the most preferable one. It's not too deep. It's just a little retest and then a bounce, and hopefully buyers are still in control, and then we hopefully come up against this resistance. So there's a whole confluence of stuff here. So right here, again, the uptrend line right here, there's a whole lot of lines here, so my apologies for all these lines, but I have to show you. For our regular subscribers, you have seen this, but for our new subscribers, let's pop this on the 3 daily time frame, and you can see this very long, very large and long downtrend line going all the way back to February of 2008. So that will probably act as resistance. There's a lot of lines. I'm going to have to tidy this up a little bit, I think. Pop this back onto the daily, and you can see that's that downtrend line there. So you've got all these trend lines sort of intersecting with each other. So it's around about this, between, I would say, $990 to $1,000 US dollar level is going to be an area of resistance. So anywhere in there. You could also count it from this previous area of resistance at 990. So it could be 990 is the area. Between 990 and 1000 is this big confluence of resistance. In my humble opinion, of course, not financial advice, and do your own research and all that stuff. Let's take a look on the weekly time frame. So it's good to see on the weekly time frame that the relative strength index is trending up as of right now. So that's good to see. Doesn't mean it will continue to do it, but it's a good indicator for platinum. So a nice healthy reversal from this bottoming so far at $880 US. Again, post a comment below if you've been keeping up with what has been happening fundamentally with platinum. I've just been looking at the technicals. Moving down from here, so as I said, you've got that 960 area. If we do break down and it's all a fake out and we're just heading right back down again, if we break down through 960, then you're going to see 940 as an area of support, big support right there. That's a little interim one. What I'd love to see is just a couple of days, 1 or 2 days, 960 and then bounce off, going down, probably down to 940, and then if we just sink from here, I've got those other horizontal lines drawn in. You can see the next one, if we happen to break here, which probably won't, but if we do, you never know what happens in platinum these days. It's a little bit more volatile. Then you've got this next area of 850, and then you've got this area of, I'll just keep it at 850 as of right now. So those are my main targets moving lower, and my main resistance level of 990 to 1000 must be taken out before I can really talk about realistic resistance prices moving higher. So let's wait to see what happens for platinum in the next week or so. Pop a comment below. What do you think platinum is going to do? Do you think we see it go lower? Do you think we see it go higher? Are you bullish on it in the longer term? Post a comment below and let's have a discussion on it, and you can fight it out amongst yourselves. That is the weekly price update and analysis, again brought to you by Ainslie Bullion and the Gold and Silver Standard. Head over to youtube.com/Ainslie Bullion for all the videos. We do our weekly specials on a Thursday. Of course, these technical analysis videos usually every Tuesday or Wednesday. Our insights videos 2 or 3 days a week. Interviews with prominent people in the industry on topics that are really important to you, I think. So find one that you love and watch it, and please pop a comment and join the discussion. That's what Insights is all about. Thanks very much for watching. Balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care, and we'll see you next time.